All right, we're continuing to celebrate Dress Like BJ Day here, but not if you're a Miami fan. That was rough. Before we get to the highlights, what's the takeaway? Because a lot of the symptoms are the same as some other things we've seen.
Record in November, 4-11. I'm going to say the takeaway is Cristobal can't get it done. He's not the answer.
Wow.
I'll go with Carson Beck needs to own these interceptions. I know he pointed the finger at some others a couple of weeks ago in a loss to Louisville. At this time, you have to own them. I know there were drop balls a year ago when he had 12 while playing for Georgia. But Carson Beck, if he's going to take the next step and be an NFL player like he envisions himself, you got to own these.
You got to be a collegiate player first.
That defense quit in overtime.
Yes.
Really? SMU had -2 rushing yards in regulation. But when it came to overtime, when it mattered, their first rush was 5 yards. They followed it up by another 5 rushes for 25 yards. So they had 6 rushes for 25 yards and a touchdown after they stopped Miami. When SMU needed to win, they relied on a run game that wasn't there, and they found a way to win. And, BJ, you and I were talking, watching Miami. When they missed and didn't get those points there at the end, they quit. They settled down and quit. They were not trying to get the ball out. And that, to me, is as big of an indictment as the results of the game.
That's an indictment of the head coach. Okay, it looks dire here. We're in overtime. We didn't score. We turned the ball over. All they need is a field goal to win this thing. But you still go out there and you fight. You got to find a way to continue to fight, get a turnover yourself. And they didn't do that. That's an indictment of who's running that program, that you don't have that type of pride, that type of heart to go out and help your quarterback pick him up. I know you've had to pick him up a lot over here lately. But go pick him up one more time. T.J. Harden wasn't touched on that last touchdown by SMU.
That's true, too. It's amazing how much you guys see just watching the game.
We got eyes.
Let's take another look back through. You had some legends in attendance for SMU.
My former teammate, Dick.
The first time they had defeated a top 10 team at home since 1974. This is good Carson Beck, though.
Beautiful throw right here, and a nice start to the game in foreign territory.
And then Kevin Jennings the other way, AT.
Yeah, he just does a nice job of throwing the football, man. When he's on, he's great. He just has to do a better job of protecting it. But it's his legs that make plays that make him so fun to
Clearly,
watch.
that was a busted coverage. And here, no pursuit whatsoever to even find Kevin Jennings.
Beautiful throw right there by Carson Beck off play action, getting the ball to the tight end, the back of the on the corner route.
So, yeah, and here's the field goal. There was a penalty that made this closer, and so they tie it up at 20. Then in OT, this is the play everyone's talking about.
Throw it out of the back of the end zone. You don't force that pass. He's trying to get it to Malachi Tony. I understand that, but throw that high out of the end zone, kick a field goal.
Ahmad Moses with the pick.
Wasn't even touched there.
Punches it in.
No one touched.
It's also good blocking, but look at this.
Man, it's their first win at home versus an AP top 10 team since I was 2 years old back in 1974, man. And Rhett Lashlee
that then either.
more than earned his extension that he got.
How about that timing, by the way?
Unbelievable.
He was already going to be there another 5 years. They added 2 more on because he's obviously being pursued by programs that have openings.
Yeah, his alma mater was looking at him at Arkansas.
Boom.
Listen, this guy was at Miami. You look at that SMU roster, it's chock full of former Canes. He's gone there and poached a number of guys, and he's ridden them all the way to the college football playoff a season ago, and there's still some on there. You know that as Miami coming in. Hey, some of these guys are former teammates. Mm-hmm. They're not having the season they had a year ago.
Well, now they're not.
And we know they're going to be fighting mad and ready for us. We're coming off a win where we didn't start great versus Stanford, then blew the doors open.
Yeah.
First time out of the state, you got to be ready for a fight. They were not ready for a fight.
What hasn't happened for the Mario Cristobal version of Miami that we all anticipated is they haven't taken over and become the dominant team in the trenches. We all anticipated he was an offensive lineman. He talks about, the struggle inside, the straining of wills in the trenches, and it seems like that's going to be his cornerstone when he coaches his team. It hasn't taken hold.
What do you have to take on the road?
Man, that's the thing. You got to take your run game. You got to pack your defense. Neither of those showed up today. Rick, they haven't averaged more than 5 yards per carry since September 13th when they played UCF. So what's happening is they're getting less from more. Look at their defensive line. Bain and the other kid, those guys destroyed Notre Dame. This team seemingly has gotten worse the further they've gone along, and they don't wallop teams. They don't beat them at the line of scrimmage and beat them into submission. They get together, and it's more polite than fight when I watch this team.
I thought after last week, though, when the way they destroyed Stanford in the second half, right, 35-0.
Fell behind 7-0, and it looked like they answered. Yeah.
So then I think expectations went up. Are they putting too much on Carson Beck? If they're not running the ball enough to begin with, then
Listen, this cat has regressed. He made a mistake that freshman quarterbacks make, and I apologize to you freshman quarterbacks out there, or redshirt freshman quarterbacks. Julian Sand wouldn't have forced that pass. There are a number of quarterbacks that would have chosen a different path in that moment, throw it out of the back of the end zone, and kick your field goal.
If you look at this graphic, you can see 9 interceptions this season, 6 in the last 3 games. If you watch that last play, if I'm coaching him off the film of that last play, what happens is he's not going through his progression properly. He's looking at something. He came late, and all of a sudden the guy kind of drifted. Malachi drifts into the end zone, and the guy undercuts him. If you're going to drift to the end zone, you got to throw it to the back line.
Yes.
There's 2 throws when you're throwing into the end zone: low on the front line and high
Tell
on the
him
back
again,
line.
Coach.
And that can't happen. There has to be more choreographed symmetry through your footwork to make sure your eyes are going to these potentials in order.
You have to tell a 4th, 5th-year senior that? No. You shouldn't have to tell him throw low at the goal line at the front of the end zone, and you throw high crossbar height at the back of the end zone. I shouldn't have to tell a guy who's played as much football as Beck.
But I don't think he's going to hear you.
I'll say this, right?
Say it louder.
The rule of thumb in coaching is either you coach it or you allow it. So how much of that is on Carson Beck? How much on that is their game plan and their preparation? It's hard for us to say. There's no way we could ever know without sitting in those rooms. But the bottom line is this. On multiple position groups, it's going the wrong way at this time of the year again inside that program.
And it's not a time to be a buyer of a coach with all the teams looking for a new head coach. Let's take a look forward, though. Let's see their remaining schedule. This is not just their second loss; it's their second conference.
They better hope all the games are in Florida.
They're not. I'll allow that first one is a win.
Yeah.
I think Miami's at a point right now where they got to look themselves in the mirror, and what they wanted, the season they thought they would have, that they were built for, isn't going to happen. So what are you going to do with your remaining schedule with these 4 games? They could go 4-0 in these games. They're talented enough. But the way they played today, they'll lose 3 of these that I'm looking at right here.
If they win all 4, this is what I would say if I'm Mario in a Sunday morning meeting. I'm going to tell this team, we win all these 4 games and we get our identity back about being the most rugged team on the field. We find a way to win these. The rest will take care of itself. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, Notre Dame, you keep going. You keep going, because Notre Dame, that signature win at the start of the season, is exactly what they need to hang their hat on with that committee to get themselves in the playoff, because it's very difficult to put a 10-2 team, 10-2 Notre Dame in against a 10-2 who looks really good the last 4 games. Miami, when you beat them.
That's the only hope and saving grace for them is Notre Dame can continue doing what it's doing, and maybe some more chaos takes place within the conference. They win out, and then possibly somehow, some way, a hope and a dream, they get into the conference championship.
And that's why I was pointing out that it's not just 2 losses, it's 2 conference losses.
Right.
There's several teams. There's 2 teams entered the week undefeated, several with just 1 loss ahead of them as well. So we'll see, and we'll see where they drop in the AP poll, but also the first CFP ranking coming out, and we'll see where the teams land there. Yeah, this really caused a reaction for you.
No, nothing against SMU. I'm just surprised that Miami has just fallen 2 of the last 3 weeks. Played in the manner in which they played. They shouldn't play like that.